Alright guys, welcome to the second part of this month's episode of Gunpla News. In this part we're going to be talking about the kit announcements. The last part we talked about the news. The next part we're talking about some updates. So if you want to see everything, just make sure you check out all the parts. There's 5 parts to Gunpla News. Check out all those individually, or you can watch them all as a playlist, whatever you want to do. We have loads of announcements to talk about, and I'm going to move through them kind of quickly because a lot of them are just kind of announced and we don't really have a lot of information about them, and a lot of them are figure related as well, which I'm not really as much interested in. I think probably a lot of you are more interested in the kits as well, so we want to just kind of move through the figures a little bit quickly. So anyway, let's get it started. The Tamashii Nation's summer collection show was kind of going on, so we had a lot of stuff coming out from there. Otherwise, just a lot of other stuff announced as well. So starting off, we have some new metal build kits announced. The first metal build is the Strike Freedom Gundam, and no release date or price announced yet for that, but I'm sure that's going to be very popular. The metal build kits seem to be very, very nice, but also very, very expensive. So there's certain people that do like to collect those, but I think in general, most people probably don't really buy those that much. Just because of the price, I think. So I don't know, but anyway, that's the first one. And next we're going to have a metal build Astray Red frame, as well as a metal build Astray Blue frame. So the metal build Astray Red frame is, as you can see pictured here, coming with the beam rifle and the shield. No look of any katana yet for that, but it's probably safe to assume that it's going to come with a katana. No release date or price for that yet, so probably a little bit later down the line we'll probably see some more about that, and probably the announcement or just the image that it's coming with a katana as well. As for the blue frame, it is also only shown with the beam rifle and the shield, but again, this one is probably safe to assume that it's going to come with some weapon, probably the bazooka, like the perfect grade. But again, no release date or price yet for that, so we're probably going to have to wait a while. And I wonder if those are going to have a simultaneous release at the same time, or if they're going to be like 1 month apart or something, how they're going to do that. But again, for people who like the metal build series, those should be pretty cool. Next we have the 9th series in the Gundam Assault Kingdom coming out in July. These are some pretty cool figures. I definitely quite like them. Not any of these designs this time, sadly, but it's okay. These are on sale in July for 400 yen each. The 4 that we're getting in this series are the Gundam Mark II in the Aeug colors, the Kemper, which is pretty cool, the G-Self with the Atmospheric Pack, and the Hambrabi. And yeah, those are pretty cool. I showed you guys a couple of those in past videos if you want to go back and check those out if you're wondering what those are like. They're pretty nice little figures. Next, we also have the announcement of the Series 20 of the Gundam Converge series. These, once again, are in September, out in September for 400 yen each. So pretty cool. I definitely, if you guys haven't seen some of my recent videos, I've definitely fallen in love with the Converge series. I like it quite a bit. There's some pretty cool figures and pretty cheap, so they're really a lot of fun. In this series, it's going to be coming with the Build-A-Burning Gundam, the Bear Guy F family, which is pretty cool, the Grimoire, and the V2 Buster Gundam, and the Gundam TR1 Hazel, and the Hyzak. Now, a couple things. The Hazel is different from the one that's coming with the Series 19, so that's it's got a little bit different equipment there, a little bit different version. And also the V2 Buster Gundam, there was previously a V2 Assault Gundam, so those are going to have like interchangeable parts. If you want, I believe you should be able to make the Assault Buster Gundam, basically like the combined form of both of those, like what was just released in a kit that I should have in the mail very soon. So I'm definitely looking forward to that kit. But anyway, that's the Gundam Converge Series 20. Then there is another Gundam Converge announcement, is the SP, so it's like their special kit where it usually comes with 2 mobile suits in there. And this one, it's the Unicorn Gundam and the Unicorn 02 Banshee Gundam, both in destroy mode, and they're in metallic colors. Now the interesting thing about this is that this is for sale overseas only, so outside of Japan only. So that's going to be pretty cool. I am a huge fan of the Unicorn Gundam and the Unicorn series, but I'm not sure if this is going to be one that I'm going to be picking up, just because I don't know. Maybe because metallic, it doesn't really look all that appealing for me. I'm not really a big fan of metallics, but anyway, that is out in September, and no price yet announced for that, but we can probably assume it's going to be somewhere around $15 to $20, so like 1,500 to 2,000 yen. But of course, the price is probably not going to be in yen because it's for sale outside of Japan. But somewhere around $15, $20, I guess, is probably going to be right for that. Maybe even 25, possibly, since it's metallic. Then we have the announcement of the Next Edge style Gundam Astray Red frame. The Astray Red frame is getting a lot of love recently. We had the metal build announced. We have the RG announcement that I'll get to here shortly. And then this one as well, the Next Edge style. And then there was the X Standard. It's not officially announced yet for that, but there's that as well. Anyway, no release date or price yet for this, but fans of the Astray Red frame or fans of the Next Edge line should be pretty excited about that. Then we had a lot of announcements for the Robot Spirits G-Self. Just released was the G-Self with the atmospheric backpack, but now we're getting basically every other backpack was announced. So first one is the Robot Spirits G-Self Space Backpack. And all of these, by the way, there's no price or release date set for any of these yet, except for the Reflector pack, but that's an exclusive, so we'll get to that in a minute. The G-Self Space Pack, it does look cool, and I do really like about the shield, how like the shield is in like an open form. That's pretty cool. I wonder if it's going to come with a closed shield as well. I assume probably. But that looks pretty cool. The second one is the Robot Spirits G-Self Tricky Pack. So like the pink version. All we're seeing is just kind of standing there right now, but I assume that's going to look pretty cool once it's like actually in use, and it's probably going to have some sort of effect parts with that as well, I'd assume. So it should be pretty cool to see some more about that in the future. Then we have the Robot Spirits G-Self Assault Pack. Now, as you can see here on my desk, I'm actually in the process of building the kit at the moment, the HG kit. And so I can only imagine how expensive that this Robot Spirits figure is going to be, because it's pretty big. Like the Assault Pack is quite large, so I assume that one's going to be pretty expensive. But for anyone who maybe doesn't want to build the HG, it's going to be a cool option there. And then finally is the Robot Spirits G-Self Torque Pack. I think the Torque Pack was something that actually a lot of people were looking forward to having in kit form, but it looks like we're probably not going to get it in a kit form. But I don't know, I could be wrong about that, but it kind of seems like now, since we're getting it in this form and there hasn't been any word of it as a kit so far, it seems like maybe we're not going to have a kit of that, but we'll just have to see, I guess. Once again, no price or release date for any of those yet, so I imagine they're just going to be coming out later in the year. Then next from the Robot Spirits line is the Gundam Spiegel. So the God Gundam and the Master Gundam have already, and what was the Shining Gundam, I believe, has already got the Robot Spirits, and maybe some other ones as well, maybe the Nobel, I believe, as well. But now we're getting the Gundam Spiegel. This, once again, no price or release date for this one as well, so don't know. Then moving into some UC, there's the Robot Spirits Neozeon. Now, as we can see in the picture, it's basically just only the chest, torso part, and the hands, and the Shinanju. So I don't know if that's going to be like the whole thing, but it looks like it's only going to be just that part of it, so not like the actual whole Neozeon, only that part of it. But it does look really cool. The hands on like the wires or like the effect parts for that do look really nice. The interesting thing about that is that the Shinanju is going to be sold separately, so if you buy that, you need to buy a Shinanju for it as well, so it's probably going to be a little bit expensive, but as we've seen with pretty much every release of the Neozeon so far, minus the SD, they're always going to be a little bit expensive just because it's so huge. As for the price, though, we don't yet know yet, and we don't know the release date as well for that either yet, so nothing, we don't know. And then there's one more from Unicorn. It's the Robot Spirits Jaqen ECOS type, so that is also price to be announced and release date to be announced, but just more Jaqen love we're getting this year. Enough Jaqen, you'd think that we're probably going to have a Master Grade Jaqen sometime soon, but we really don't know, so we'll just have to see. Then we have some Robot Spirits coming out from the Gundam Seed story. We first got the Robot Spirits Strike Rouge. That's to be announced, no price, no release date, but that's going to be coming out later this year probably. And then also the Robot Spirits Providence Gundam, no price or release date yet for that as well, but it definitely looks cool. The effect parts definitely look cool for that as well. That is one design from the Seed storyline that I actually really quite like. I built the old 1-100 kit a long time ago, and I really quite like the design of it. I like the shield kind of beam saber hand on it, and I really like the rifle, kind of the huge rifle launcher thing that it has. It's a really cool gun. So that is one kit, that is one design that I wish we would get kind of an updated kit of that. A master grade would be really awesome, but I don't know, we'll just have to see. And the last one is the Robot Spirits Mobius Zero. This is not a mobile suit, but just kind of that kind of spaceship plane kind of thing that has the kind of funnel things that go off, like funnel cannons that go off on it. So I'm guessing that's probably going to have some sort of dedicated stand or effect parts for those as well. That, again, no price or release date for that as well yet. But we're still not done with new Robot Spirits announcements, because next we have the Robot Spirits Mega Bazooka Launcher. Now the Robot Spirits Hyakushiki is something that's coming out in June, I believe, but later in November, for the price of 3,800 yen, is going to be the Mega Bazooka Launcher that you can get to use with your Hyakushiki if you so choose. Kind of interesting that we actually do have a release date and price for this when a lot of the others we don't, and it's quite late in November, so I don't know what that's all about, but anyway. Then there's the Robot Spirits Rick DS, also no price and no release date for that, but I know there's quite a lot of Rick DS fans out there. It's a design that's kind of okay for me, but some people should really like that. And finally, that's it for the normal announcements. Then there is a few Tamashii Webshop exclusives, of course. The first one being the Tamashii Webshop exclusive Robot Spirits G Self Reflector Pack. So all the other packs were standard release, but for the Reflector Pack, that's going to be a webshop exclusive coming out in November for 8,100 yen. So like 8,100 yen is maybe like $70, something like that, or at the current exchange rate. Pretty expensive, but it does look pretty cool. That is something that would be cool in kit form as well, probably, but probably not going to get it. Then next is the Tamashii Webshop exclusive Robot Spirits Unicorn Gundam and Banshee Norn final shooting version. So this is going to be a set with both of the mobile suits. They're going to be coming with everything that they come with to be in destroy mode. The Banshee Norn has, of course, the Armed Armor DE shield, the rifle with the revolving launcher, and the interesting thing about that is that it's going to have a different part, I guess, for the knee joint to have it being shown as the final shooting version where its leg is actually broken off at the knee. So you're going to have that, or you're going to have the option to just have just a normal leg on there if you want the full leg. So that is going to be pretty cool. And then, of course, the Unicorn Gundam itself is just with the green psycho frame and nothing broken on there, although I think it should have, like, where the Tonfas exploded and the head Vulcans exploded. It should have that in there to be totally anime accurate, but I don't think they're going to include that this time. But that set is going to be out in October for 15,000 yen, so somewhere around $140, $135, something like that. Pretty expensive for just a set of the two of those, but maybe unicorn collectors will want that. And then Tamashii Webshop exclusive Robot Spirits Fun Psyche. This is pretty cool. The kit is definitely pretty interesting. It's very unique to have a Gundam horse, kind of. So, of course, this is going to be able to be used with any Robot Spirits that you have, really, but you're probably going to be wanting to use it with either the God Gundam or the Master Gundam, as it's shown in the pictures there. It does look very, very nice. It looks even a little bit more simple than the kit form, even, but at least it'll probably just be, I don't know, pretty nice for anyone who really wants it. And it does have its own dedicated stand, so you can display it in its, what do you call it, rearing, neighing, whatever you'd call that. That's out in October for 6,400 yen, so again, quite expensive. That's even more expensive than like usually a normal Robot Spirits kit, so. Okay, so finally, let's move into some p-bandai stuff, and there was quite a lot of p-bandai stuff too. That's also maybe a little bit worrying, as the amount of p-bandai stuff that was announced this past month, so it's quite a lot. First one being the p-bandai SD BB Senshi Musha Dai Shogun white steel version. So it's just kind of a metallic SD kit with some metallic parts there as well for the white steel version. Out in August for 2,700 yen. Then, kind of as I expected, and probably a lot of other people expected as well, they're re-releasing the p-bandai MG Balute system. At least I believe that that was already released, if I remember correctly. But that is out in July for 1,400 yen, so pretty cheap, and it should be a pretty cool add-on to get if you want to add that to your kit. There's, I think, 5 kits you can add it to: the Marasai, the Hyakushiki, the Rick DS, the Hyzak, and the Nemo. So I think you can add it to any of those. So I guess it's going to come with maybe some dedicated parts for each of those kits for kind of adapters for that. Should be pretty cool. At least the 2.0 Hyakushiki has the adapter parts included with that kit, so not really sure how that's going to work exactly, but it should be a pretty cool thing. Then we had a couple of p-bandai announcements for stuff from high-grade build fighters. These are stuff from the manga. There's the first one, which is the Cathedral Gundam. Pretty cool kind of gold and white design, a take on the Denial. It's actually redesigned from the Denial Gundam. That's out in August for 2,400 yen. Then the second one would be the p-bandai high-grade build fighters Hainu Gundam Influx. Now, of course, this is going to be a take on the Hainu Vrabe, and in some pretty cool gray and black color scheme. It's really cool with the cannons instead of the funnels. So that's pretty interesting, but no price or release date set for that at the moment, though I'm sure we're going to get a price and release date for that probably very soon, like the day after I post this video or something. But that definitely looks pretty cool. I'm kind of a little bit tired of the Hainu these days, but I know there's a lot of people who really love it, so that should be pretty popular. Speaking of popular, the p-bandai HG build fighters Durion 3. Now, I'm sure the Tryon 3 is going to be popular, that kit, and that is actually a kit that I am going to be getting, so I'll be able to show that to you guys later in June. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like. But anyway, this one is the Dryon 3. It's just all black with silver, sorry, not silver, gold. And it looks like the only part that's new on it is the new V-fin with that really crazy V-fin on it. It definitely looks really cool. I'm like 99% sure that all the gold you're seeing on there is all stickers. So I think the kit is going to be molded all in black, and you're just going to have a load of gold stickers on it, which is kind of sad when that's a p-bandai exclusive. So you're basically just paying for an all-black Tryon 3 with a new V-fin part and a big sheet of gold stickers. It's kind of disappointing. I think if you really wanted that V-fin wouldn't be very hard to scratch build, and it wouldn't be hard to just repaint your kit in black with some gold on the edges. But anyway, it does look cool. That's out in August for 2,800 yen. I mean, it does look really nice, so I mean, that is something that I might actually consider doing for the Tryon 3 someday, but I don't know. Next, we have the p-bandai HGUC Jaqen Type A2 General Revel Color version. So once again, more Jaqen, and this is from the Gundam Unicorn series, of course. The release date is to be announced yet, but the price is going to be 1,800 yen. So just pretty standard kind of HG price, especially for a p-bandai. It's really not all that bad. If you really wanted a Jaqen that was really accurate to the Gundam UC, the General Revel version, then that would be something that should be interesting to you. And then next we have the p-bandai Master Grade GM Kennan. This is something that definitely looks really cool. I'm personally not really a huge fan of the original GM all that much, but this one does look really nice. It looks like it's going to be using the GM 2.0 basically, and then with some new parts for the chest, the legs, of course the backpack and cannon as well. And the crotch piece and the front skirts are going to be different, whereas the normal GM is like one piece. This is separated with like a normal kind of Gundam, more Gundam looking, but separated front skirts anyway. It does look really cool. I'm thinking about getting that. I don't know. because it's kind of between that or the next one that I'm going to talk about. I don't know if I really want to get both, but I definitely really like both of them. So that one, anyway, the GM Kennan is out in August for 4,000 yen, so not all that expensive for a premium Bandai Master Grade. That's pretty low in terms of, like, compared to other ones. Next is one that I'm also very, very excited about, is the p-bandai Master Grade Heavy Gundam. Now, I'm not sure what this is from. A quick Google search, I'm sure, could tell me. I didn't do that in preparation for this video. I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm sure it's probably from some manga, probably, or some game, I would assume. But someone correct me in the comments, or I'll just Google it when I'm through with this video and I'll find out for myself. But anyway, no price or release date set for that, but I assume the price is probably going to be something around 5,000 to 6,000 yen, and probably going to see that sometime in the fall, maybe September, October, something like that. It looks really, really cool. Of course, that huge gun on the arm is going to be a huge selling point for a lot of people, I think. The brown colors, you know, I could live without. If I get this, and I would definitely want to probably paint it in some different colors. The other thing that I don't really like about it is like that it has a visor. It's hard to see in the pictures, but it does have it. It doesn't have like the normal just Gundam eyes. It has a visor, and for me, it just looks like an ugly pair of sunglasses on a Gundam. It doesn't really look very good at all. That as well, if I build up that kit, I might, assuming I can, assuming it comes with the parts just for the normal eyes, I would just do without the visor and just give it just the normal eyes. But anyway, it does look pretty cool. It does look like there's going to be some pretty nasty seam lines on the big gun, but, you know, kind of something you just have to live with if it's a kit that you really want. So finally, that does it for all of the p-bandai announcements. There was a lot, and as we're going to see now, and just moving into the normal announcements, it's a little bit scary that there's almost as many p-bandai announcements as there are just normal release announcements. It's a little bit worrisome, but let's get into that. The first one is the high-grade Build Fighters Gundam Leopard Da Vinci. This is something that some people were basically expecting because it was kind of teased in that shadow image, the silhouette image before. And so that is going to be out in August for 1,800 yen. It's really cool. I like the Leopard Gundam, which this is based off of. And this kind of new take, the Build Fighters take on the design of the Leopard Gundam, definitely looks really cool. It's loaded out with some huge heavy weapons, so that's always really cool. Those are probably going to have a lot of nasty seam lines on there, but again, it is an HG, so just kind of have to expect that. And for 1,800 yen to have the huge amount of weapons loadout that it has, it's definitely pretty cool. You're definitely going to be getting a lot for your money there, so that's pretty nice. I'm definitely hoping that I'll be able to get that kit and show it for you guys. Next one is the SD Build Fighters Kurenai Musha Amazing. So that was the other image that was teased in the silhouette before. It's definitely coming out now. Out in August as well for 1,000 yen. Pretty standard, kind of more recent, a little bit more complicated SD release. It's not appealing for me at all, but for people who maybe like the Amazing Red Warrior or SD kits, it's basically, or Musha SD kits, it's basically kind of a combination of all of those. Those stupid looking wheels on its arm do come off with parts of the helmet, and other parts of the armor come off to form like a separate cannon for it, so that's kind of interesting. Then of course it does have quite a lot of weapons on there as well, so sure, it's surely coming with a lot of stuff in there for an SD kit. Then next from Reconquista and G, we have the high-grade RC G-Self Perfect Pack. This is going to be coming out in August as well for 2,700 yen. And I'm a little bit curious as to if this is going to be the last high grade that we get from the Reconquista and G series, because the series is coming to an end, and I don't know if they're going to be releasing any more kits after that. We will probably someday we'll have to get a master grade of the G-Self at some point. If no other mobile suits from the series, at least the G-Self will have to get in a master grade because it's the protagonist mobile suit, it's the main mobile suit of the series. And it's a Tomino series. They can't ignore it that much to totally not even do a master grade for it. So it's just a matter of time. But as far as the high grades go, I'm wondering if this might be the last one. But anyway, I'm kind of hoping that it's not, because it would be kind of nice if they would go out on a high note. And this doesn't really look that great. I mean, just from the images that we've seen so far, it doesn't really look like those arms for the parts of the backpack are going to be able to hold that weight very well. I could be wrong, and we'll maybe have to see a bit later. And also the clear parts around on it don't really look all that good. That kind of clear blue that it has on parts of the backpack and the shield as well. I do like the new design of the shield, but again, just those clear parts don't really look all that good on it. But it does look interesting. It's an interesting design, definitely an interesting take on the G-Self with that backpack, so it's not terrible. Then next in the Revive series, we've got the Gundam and the Gun Cannon coming out, and then the Freedom Gundam coming up after that. And then we got the announcement of the next Gundam in the Revive series is going to be the HGUC Gundam Mark II in the Aeug colors. Pretty safe to assume that we're going to get a Titans colors as well. That could probably even be a premium Bandai with the way things are going. It's probably going to be a premium Bandai release, because then they can also release it with some special markings as well to be able to mark it, like with the robot Tamashii that we saw before, where it came with markings for either 01, 02, or 03. They're probably going to do something like that with the release of the Revive HG kit as well. We've got the release date out for that to be in November, but no price yet for that as well. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very excited about that. I quite like the Mark II as well, so it's definitely going to be something I'm going to be interested in. Although, for me, that's the best RG kit that I've built of all of the RG kits that I've built. I haven't built them all, but of the RG kits that I've built, the Gundam Mark II is still probably by far my favorite. So I'm not sure what this new HG is going to be able to do that the RG can't do. It's just going to be a matter of aesthetic. If you wanted a little bit more simple aesthetic for your kit, less part separation, less detail, less panel lines, then the Revive version is going to be what you're going to want to get. But it's just going to be a matter of taste there. Then moving into Gundam The Origin, I am really liking the HG Gundam The Origin line so far. I built the Zaku 2 Char's Custom. It was a really great kit. I'm really looking forward to building the Black Tristars kit next month. I'm going to be getting that. The Gun Tank Early Type is just not some, it looks like a really great kit, but it's not something that I'm just personally interested in, although it looks great. But we got some new kit announcements from that series that I'm really looking forward to. The first one being the HG Prototype Goof, out in September for 1,800 yen. That one looks really cool. It comes with an assortment of different hands, or I should say forearms, that you're going to be getting with that. One is just a normal hand. Another one is the kind of cable. That's kind of what a kind of electric cable grappling whip, heat whip kind of thing. I'm not sure I remember exactly what the name for that is, but anyway, that arm as well as I think like a claw arm. So some really cool stuff there for that. It's definitely going to be a really interesting kit. And then with all of the new engineering that they're putting into these HG The Origin kits, it's going to be really awesome. So I definitely can't wait for that. And then we're getting another goof as well. It's the HG YMS07 goof. This is another kind of prototype version of the goof, I guess. No price for that yet and no release date for that yet, but probably sometime shortly after that, I guess maybe October. And this one as well looks really cool. It is kind of interesting that it's coming with the machine gun that looks very similar to the machine gun used by the Ground Gundam and the EZ-8 from the 8th MS Team storyline. So that's pretty cool. And then it has like a kind of standard looking goof shield and just a very unique color scheme for that as well. So that's one of the more interesting things for that kit. For me, is the color scheme is really cool. Of course, it would be something that I would paint anyway, but I would definitely want to stick with that color scheme because I quite like it. And the next one is the HG Mobile Worker. This one is going to be another super unique kit. We don't really have anything like this in the Gundam storyline, at least in kit form, so it's going to be very unique. We're getting like the orange color version, though I believe in the trailer it showed 2 different color versions, so I assume this one is going to be something that we're going to maybe be getting 2 different kits of, and the different color versions, and possibly some like different arm attachment pieces for it. In some different artwork, we've seen it with like kind of like a backhoe shovel arm as well, so that could be something that's going to be included in maybe the blue version of the kit. But for this version, we're just getting like one claw arm and then one standard hand that looks very similar to the hand that's included on the prototype goof. Anyway, the Mobile Worker is out, same as the prototype goof, in September for 1,800 yen. It definitely looks really cool. and definitely looking forward to seeing more about that kit. Now, the other interesting thing is that in this image here, we're at the Shizuoka Hobby Show where it showed these new kits. In this silhouette form where it says next there, we can see the outline of what is a prototype Zaku 2. So basically it's kind of taking like the legs of like a prototype Rickdom and a prototype Zaku 2 and kind of sticking that all together. Here's an image of what that looks like. So that could be something that we're going to be seeing coming up next in another kit form, which would be really awesome. So hopefully we do get that. And then finally, the last thing from Gundam The Origin is the high-grade Zaku 2 high mobility type Black Tri-Stars Custom, the Ortega version. So this is something I was really curious about for a long time now. We are going to be getting a separate kit only for the Ortega version, which means that one is coming with the giant axe. So we're going to have the Gaia and Mash version that's coming out, I believe, in June, very soon, June or July. We'll get to that in the next video. And then the Ortega version is going to be a separate kit. So that's going to be out in September for 2,200 yen. Not only is it coming with the giant axe, but it's also coming with a kind of dedicated base for that and a dedicated effect part for that as well. So that's pretty cool. So for that, I can kind of see why they separated it, because if they put all of that, including the long rifle and the bazooka, all into one box for all three versions of the Black Tri-Stars, that kit would probably have to run something like 3,000 yen. And I think that's something that they didn't want to do for an HG kit. They wanted to keep it under 2,000 yen. So I can see why they separated it, but it still kind of sucks, because if you wanted the option to make it any one of the three you want, you need to buy one of the two kits. If you only buy the Ortega version, then I'm guessing you're not going to be getting the long rifle or the bazooka, or vice versa. So it's kind of too bad, but I would like to get both, so we'll see. Then next we had a new Master Grade announcement, and this is something that was totally out of nowhere. I don't think anyone was expecting this, especially at this time, but it's the Master Grade Gundam Amazing Red Warrior. Now in these images that we saw at first at the Shizuoka Hobby Show, it was looking pretty unexciting, unappealing. It didn't look very good at all. We can see they're most likely using the Gundam RX-78 2.0 as the base kit for this, and then just a lot of new parts to make it the Amazing Red Warrior, including all of its weapons that it has as well. Yeah, it doesn't really look that great, and even in this later image that we just recently got, it does look better, but I don't know, especially the hands look very huge. The hands on the 2.0 Gundam are very large, as they're kind of meant to be on the Gundam, but for the Gundam Amazing Red Warrior, they look a little bit out of place, and just the kit doesn't really look like anything all that exciting. I mean, I guess people who are really big fans of the design are going to be pretty excited about that, but personally, it doesn't really look like anything I would really be all that excited about, so I don't know. That, anyway, will be out in August for 4,800 yen. I'm just hoping that the next Master Grade after that will be something that will be very, very exciting, because I want to be really super excited about a Master Grade kit again. It's been a little while. So finally, probably the most exciting announcement for me is the next RG, and that is going to be the Real Grade Gundam Astray Red Frame. If you would have told me before that the next Real Grade kit was going to be the Astray Red Frame, I wouldn't really have been all that excited about it at all, because I personally feel like we've already got enough kits of the Astray Red Frame. Although the Master Grade was a premium Bandai exclusive, there are plenty of other Master Grade Astray kits. And then we have the Perfect Grade, the High Grade, a few different high grades in 1/100 scale and 1/144 scale. But after seeing the prototype images that they have there and the artwork that they have there, it looks really, really nice, really, really amazing actually. I love the changes that they've made to some of the proportions and the details on it. It's going to be coming with its kind of standard weapons loadout of the beam rifle, the shield, and the katana, but that's kind of everything that you need for it. I'm sure it's going to be looking really, really great. Like I said, I just love the images that we've got of it so far. They're really awesome. The other thing about it is that, of course, it's going to be coming in a two-tone inner frame. So the B runner of the Real Grade is going to be an inner frame there in red and white. So it totally looks like a candy cane. It looks really silly, but I'm sure once that's actually in the kit, it's going to look fine. You're not going to even notice that candy cane look to it, but definitely really looking forward to that coming out in August for 2,700 yen, so definitely looking forward to that. And as much as I'm looking forward to that, I'm just hoping that the next kit that we get from the RG line is going to be back to something from UC, I hope, because the last one that we got from UC was the Zigok, and so I hope they go back and do something else from UC again. But I don't know, as long as it looks cool, then whatever, I guess. And next is the SD BB Senshi Versal Night Gundam, just another kind of SD kit for those of you who are fans of the Night Gundam. And that's out in August as well for 1,600 yen. And then finally, the last one is the HD builder parts for the MS Hand 01 Federal Forces dark gray color version. So it's just a version of the HD builders parts for the MS Hand. And there you can see it on the real grade Gundam. So I guess that would be a kit that would be very useful for these hands. Because the real grade hands, as you guys know, especially the articulated real grade hands, are a little bit tricky sometimes. They don't really work that well, or they can be very loose. So if you wanted to use that, you could. It's going to be out in August for 420 yen, so not very expensive. Anyway, that does it for all the new announcements. There was a lot of them this month, as you can see. So we're going to stop this part of the Gunpla news for right now. That's the end of part 2. The next video will be part 3, where we're going to go over all the updates for everything that we already know is coming out. There's quite a lot of that as well, so I'll try to speed through some of that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for part 3 of Gunpla news coming up next.